Hi, and welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming on the internets. My name is Crunky.
And I am Cherry Cake. We aim to bring you regular interviews with your favourite streamers to find out more about the person behind the webcam.
To give you more inside look on how they got started, what their goals are, and what keeps them coming back to stream.
Today we're speaking with AnubisCOD, a Call of Duty player from New Jersey that mainly focuses on the zombie mode in the game. You can find him at twitch.tv/ANUBISCOD. That's AnubisCOD.
Welcome, Anubis. How are you today?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for asking. How you guys been?
Doing great.
Yeah, pretty good.
Thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. It's been a long time coming, I think. You've asked me a while ago, so I've been trying to make time for it. It's just been crazy lately.
Well, you do 14-hour streams. That's going to happen.
Yeah, and still up for 19.
Yeah, I don't know how you're not in bed.
If he sounds a little jet lagged today, it's because he is almost.
Basically.
So one of the first things we ask everybody is, AnubisCOD. I know Anubis is an Egyptian god, but what made you go with that name and how'd you come up with it? Is there a story behind it?
Well, there's actually a long story behind it before even Anubis was born. Originally, when I started streaming, I was under the name Yojimbo, New Jersey, and I originally got that name from Final Fantasy X. And I was really addicted to that game at the time, which is why I came up with that name. And I couldn't think of anything else to put at the end of it that would work for a console because everything else was taken. So I did Yojimbo, New Jersey, hence where I'm from. Eventually, that name evolved into another name over time because I didn't feel like I was doing so well with my first channel. And then I don't remember what my second name was. And eventually, AnubisCOD was born. But before it became AnubisCOD, at the time, I was running just a pub stomping team, and it was called at first it was called Legendary Gaming, I believe it was, or something else. I don't remember. It was quite a long time ago, back during the MW3 days. And my name originally started off as Legendary Anubis or Legend of Anubis at first, then Legendary Anubis. Originally, I was going to call myself the Egyptian god, sun god Ra. And it didn't feel like me. It felt too nice and bright, the sun god. And I wanted something more evil, more dark.
Nice.
So I started looking up some of the gods. I was like, oh, Anubis. And I remember that from Stargate SG-1. And remember how evil that character was in the TV show. And I was like, it has to be me. And then, I like Call of Duty. So AnubisCOD eventually was born.
Nice. And I know you did a really good job with the theming on it. Whenever you have I think a subscriber or a donation, you come in with a voiceover and write their name down in a logbook. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lengthy process though, creating the whole Egyptian theme and the style and the exact look I was really trying to shoot for. It was a lot of touch and go, a lot of my own work at first until I was able to kind of gain more donations and pay for the graphics needed and everything, towards, the stream and making it better. It's been a constant improvement.
Right.
And it's just been, it's been really constantly growing, and it's been going in the direction and continuously evolving over time here.
Speaking of that growing, that you were saying from like how you got to where you are now, when did you actually start streaming? And why did you start streaming?
I started streaming almost 5 days from today's date, being August 20th. Will be actually my 4th year anniversary being on Twitch. So in 5 days is my 4th year anniversary on Twitch.
Happy anniversary!
Wow, yeah.
Thank you guys. And I originally wanted to start streaming because originally I was actually trying to go become a professional player. Because I started watching eSports and stuff, started kind of like just looking into it, and just kind of came across it by accident, really. And then found originally what was Justin.tv at the time, later to become known as Twitch.tv. And that's where I saw like Optic, and that's like the first pro team I ever like really witnessed in history, and hence why I kind of like fanboy over them, because they're the ones that really inspired me. The original Optic team being Rambo, Scumpy, Big Timer, and Nade Shot, I think. At the time, I may be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But yeah, they were. I was watching Big Timer and Nade Shot mostly stream, and sometimes Scumpy, and they really like inspired me. So much fun they were having at the same time, the competitiveness of it and the fun though behind the competitiveness. Like as serious as they were being, you could see that they were having fun and enjoying what they were doing. And yeah, there was a nice prize pool behind it, cash on the line, but you could see in their eyes and see the spark and the inspiration that got them to where they got, because they came from a long road themselves, and so I wanted what they had. I wanted that fame, that stardom, that I wanted that fun, that spark. I was looking for something like that for a long time, and I want to take my love of gaming to the next level. So this was it for me. And that's what really started to be inspired to become like YouTubing and Twitch and streaming and all that.
Justin TV, that's 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like that long ago, but yeah, it has
Oh yeah,
been.
it's ages. Practically
Forever
as
ago in
long as
internet time.
think about it, because that's when before even YouTube was really even taking off, and it was everything was just kind of slowly growing. Esports, streaming, YouTube, all of
Pirate football games were available there.
it.
Nice. So you just talked about all the excitement about all the streamers that you used to watch just then as well. You were talking about like the fun and the spark that they get. In regards to yourself, what is the best part of streaming for you personally?
Nowadays, it's mostly about I don't like to call them my fans or friends. Really, I call them my family, and that's the thing that's developed over time. Originally, obviously, they were just fans, and I didn't really honestly consider as much I should have about them, or I didn't take um as much thought into who they were and why they were watching me. It's just more about like, hopefully I, make some money from this, make a lot of money, and I can make this into a career and receive these, hundreds of dollars of donations that these guys are getting, that the ones I've watched before me, the ones that inspired me, who were much younger than me at the time and still are today. And that's what originally like started off as, just being a money thing and just kind of being money hungry, and saw the potential it had as well from that aspect. That's because they were already so well known and famous and playing these competitive games. But then over time, I realized that, I had to get away from that focus, that kind of mentality of just worrying about a financial aspect and worrying about, making another dollar, or trying to get that $1,000 donation or $10,000 donation that some of us have seen on Twitch that happen to other streamers. Um, and what we don't really understand is that there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of time that they put into it, that we think it's just something that happened overnight, that they just grew out of nowhere, out of the ground, and poof, they were magic fucking all-stars, and excuse my language.
Oh, you feel free to swear as much as you like.
Gotcha, okay. But yeah, it's like that was my thought too in the process. Like, first, not knowing anything about streaming, was that these guys just came out of nowhere and just overnight became all-stars. So that was my thought process too behind the money. But like I said, over time, I realized that I need to focus more on the group I was trying to grow, and the people I wanted to be in my streams. And it took a lot of time, and there's a lot of things going on in my life, off and on stream and off stream, and times there I had no streams going on for weeks, months at a time, even when I first started, and even today, I still have running into life issues. But I mean, like, for me, it's about my family, the fans, the friends, whatever you would like to label them as. I've grown to really love and appreciate the people that have supported me, and not just financially, but like being there every day. People that just are anticipating and exciting to see me, to see what I'll be doing today, to see what new things I'll be bringing to the stream, whether it's graphics or some kind of new game or some kind of thing with the bots that Twitch has, and like just they love just seeing new stuff. They love what I was bringing to them. They love my personality. They loved what I was, that I wasn't like a lot of other big streamers that grew really big and kind of forgot where they came from.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean about having the participation and the followers, and they're more like family. And I think I haven't been streaming near as long as you, but I think the first time I realized how special it was when you see or hear something in real life. You're out and about doing whatever, and you're like, "Oh, I can't wait to tell so and so from my stream tonight about that." That's how you
Exactly.
know they're part of your family. They're part of your inner.
And I get so excited too when I do something new. Like, even like as we speak, I'm even working on new stuff. I actually just did something new for my stream recently. A new kind of like animated intro, and then I'm also working right now on new commands to use in the chat and stuff. So like I'm always trying to improvise. I'm always trying to make it better for my family and try to make sure they're always having enough fun. Even if they're getting bored with the game, or if I'm not being entertaining, they're like, say I'm just slacking, I'm having a rough day, but I'm pushing the stream. I just don't have the energy to be my typical self that I'm usually on, or usually am on streams. And so I kind of turn towards my bot as like my companion, my DJ, my assistant, to entertain my streams for me, to kind of take over when I'm slacking. So I try to make sure I always have a bunch of stuff somewhere, up my sleeve that will be my ace in the hole when I'm not my 100%.
So I guess that was illustrate to your goals nowadays are to put on a good show, be entertaining, and be interactive with your crowd.
Correct. I mean, there's nothing obviously more important than having that crowd, because if you don't have viewers, you don't have followers, you're not going to see any money if that's your goal in the long run, or your goal right now for all people that are new. You can't just focus on the financial aspect. You can't expect to make that dollar, that very first dollar, if that's all you're focusing on is the money aspect. You're not going to grow to your true potential if you don't really see the potential that are within your followers, the people that are going to be coming there and watching you day in and day out, seeing and getting to know you as a person, and not just the personality you're putting on, or just the maybe sometimes the act you're putting on. Because there's a lot of streamers out there, big and small nowadays, that are coming up with gimmicks or costumes or other stuff, and not really being themselves. But it works for them.
I saw one jackass wearing a duck suit on stream.
See, I mean,
Yeah.
I did it.
It's entertainment for some people. Some people get a kick out of it.
Well, here's what happened to me. I had a follower. Someone was talking about furries or something, and somebody posted a link to a duck suit. And somebody goes, "Oh, Crunk, you should wear that on." I said, "Hey, if somebody buys it for me, it was like $60 or something. I promise I'll wear it on stream." Obviously, I was bluffing, and boom, somebody donated me the money to buy it. So I was like, "Well, I guess I opened my mouth. I got to pay the price." And it was the most uncomfortable stream. Everyone enjoyed it, but it was hot.
You said it was I was gonna say, you said it was really hot in the
it was hot, and it was built in a way that like it suffocated me. To put it on my head, it was like I would not recommend it. So, but it's
like kind of reverse interview you. What do you mean by like uncomfortable? It's just hot, or was it like uncomfortable displaying it to your viewers, like you being in the suit?
No, I have no shame or pride, so it doesn't bother me at all. But literally, it was like suffocating my mouth. I couldn't breathe.
Because that's like another thing, a lot of streamers too, like they have a lot of self-conscious issues, and not just ladies, men. I mean, everybody. It's both genders and everybody involved. There's a lot of uncomfortability when you're streaming. You don't really know how to act, you don't know how to present yourself at first, and you gotta learn to break out of your comfort zones. You gotta learn to actually try different things you normally would never do in real life, probably, and in actual public in front of thousands of people. It's different when you're behind a camera, because then you can't see the reactions. You can't really feel like you're being judged. You can't really feel intimidated or embarrassed.
So, sorry, how long did you say you've been streaming for in total?
It'll be 4 years on the AnubisCOD account in 5 days.
So, in the 4 years that you've actually been on this account anyway, what are the main things that you've learned from streaming? It could be like anything that you've learned from before this, before Anubis actually started on this account. What are the main things that you've learned along the way?
It's basically, like I said, you eventually learn over time, especially if you're just coming in for like the money aspect, that you learn that's not the mentality you want, that you need to also kind of grow up. I know a lot of things may seem funny to a lot of people, and you have this certain, joking side of you. May think that you're being funny, but sometimes the sarcasticness only goes so far before it becomes misunderstood as you just being, rude or a jackass. Some people, your attitude can be very miseasily misconstrued over the internet and on camera. So it's hard for people to really truly see you as you. They still don't know you, and they kind of never really truly 100% will.
Yeah, I could totally understand where you're coming from with that, because and they also, especially if you're doing 14-hour streams, they get you at your best, and then 10 hours in, you start to get tired and more easily. At least I do. I get tired and more easily agitated, and I'm not as. I look back at my VODs and I'm like, I was a little bit out of line there.
Yeah,
about the 10 hours.
That's the thing too. They say there's a life expectancy. There's a lot of bigger streamers that they say that there's a life expectancy of streamers that basically your first 4 to 6 hours, you're at your best. After that, you start very rapidly becoming worse and worse. You lose the motivation, you lose that drive, that energy you have in the beginning, that whole energetic spark and being all hyped with your stream, and then eventually they start seeing you just winding down, becoming less and less entertaining. You see your numbers start falling because it's you're taking away from your entertainment value because you're pushing yourself really beyond limits. But I mean, there are those people that love to see you push beyond those limits. They love to hype you on and go for 24, go for 36, go for 48, go. And like you got those viewers, man. You're just like, man, you kind of feel bad because you want to keep entertaining. You see that they're enjoying the stream and enjoying what you're doing. And they're just egging you on. It kind of makes you feel good that they want to keep watching you, even though it's you're well beyond your limits. You're done, you're tapped out, but you got those loyal, dedicated fans that are there for you, supporting you, rooting you on, and you just
Do
try to
another
keep going.
shot.
Yeah.
So your stream is centered a lot. I know you do other games, but I've seen you play a lot of Call of Duty.
Yeah, because at one point I was trying to, like I said, I was trying to become on the competitive level of Call of Duty. I originally started off on multiplayer. I started off in NW3 and started forming my own like pub team at first, and then I started joining more like professional or amateur pub teams that were trying to become recognized in the community as a pro team that were going to build from the pub team and build people into a amateur team, and then eventually, obviously, into a pro team once they started placing well, doing well, getting better.
Now, I'm gonna jump in here because I missed the Call of Duty wave. I'm an old fart, so I missed all this stuff. When you say pub, you're talking about public teams?
Public matches, yeah, just regular, jumping in random lobbies, playing against other random players, and you play with maybe like your group of 5 or 6 people, or like you people you're really kind of close to, and you do well with as a team, and you just kind of go in and you just kind of destroy the other team because they're just a bunch of randoms. Meanwhile, you're a bunch of organized players that have played together a bunch of times already, and you kind of have developed strategies for maps and certain game types.
So do you ever game while you're not streaming?
I used to, but as I kind of get into my old age here and kind of seeing that as time has gone on, a lot of games have changed and a lot of games have kind of died off. The games that I've loved or games that I used to be really interested in, either my taste has changed or the games are just not living up to my expectations or living up to par.
These damn kids with their cell phones, am I right?
Oh, God.
Cell phone, I still got a beeper.
Right.
You got a pager.
Yeah.
We were talking about if you game while off stream. When you're off stream, well, when you're not streaming on Twitch, is there any other streams that you watch like on a consistent basis?
Consistently, I wouldn't say consistently. I kind of try to bounce around because there are a lot of people I try to spread love to, especially since I've gotten to know people. I try my best to kind of like spread myself, but then I got a lot of things going on in my personal life that mom being sick and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude.
Other medical bills too piling up on her end. Trying to raise money for that back last year. So there's just been a lot of, like I said, ups and downs through my entire career, and then through my life, and so it's been hard to kind of be consistent with anybody, but I've tried to show love to. I've been there for Cherry. I've been to a couple of Crunk streams. I've been there to even watch some big streamers as well to kind of learn from them and try to maybe also like honestly steal some material and then like format it into my theme and to kind of like restructure it a little bit so it's not exactly what they did or what they're doing, but make it work for me.
Just take inspiration from. I don't think
Exactly.
it's theft if you just have if there's some spin you can do to make it your own.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
You have, if I remember correctly, like over 12,000 followers now.
We just actually hit I think 14,000 last night.
See, you're gaining them so fast we can't even keep track of it. I wrote Cherry wrote these notes a few days ago.
In that 14-hour stream, we gained over 1,000 followers.
Man, congratulations!
Wow,
that's
well
amazing.
done, man.
Well, okay, so here's the breakdown on that for just to kind of update everybody. Basically, from what I'm told, anyway, I don't know how true this is, but from what I've been told from multiple streamers and multiple other people, is that Twitch, since they've updated their apps and updated their site and changed a lot of things, and they've come under new ownership, their new app, their system now automatically, whenever someone makes a new account, has it start triggering and following other accounts. And it's become this whole like kind of like follow bot thing back when Twitch wasn't run by Amazon, where people had view bots and follow bots, and it's just to kind of get noticed on Twitch. And since they changed and changed things on their site, there's no more view botting, and you can see like a lot of the bigger channels now aren't as big as they used to be, so it makes you think twice about where they were really at.
Right.
And like I said, now it's like Twitch has built its own follow bots. I'm not saying it is a follow bot, but like what I'm told is basically everyone that makes a new account or any people that make a new account, it kind of links them to other streamers and makes them follow that if they're interested in that kind of gameplay. So like say they're interested in Black Ops 3 or they're interested in PUBG or H1Z1 or League of Legends, it automatically will make them follow those channels.
Yeah, I've definitely ran into that myself, and I know Cherry has.
Yeah, I was playing. I think you were telling me about it, Crunk, the other day. I was playing Mario Maker, and you commented something like I was in the top 5, I think, for playing that particular game, because it's not a popular game, but I was just getting one follow just after another. But the problem is that when that happens, you don't actually gain anybody coming in to chat. It's just an automatic follow.
Yeah, I was just about to say there's no true beneficial to having the followers without the views. The followers don't really mean anything if you're not getting the views. You know, like it's great to show that the channel's growing and is getting followers, but then people are like, okay, so you have 14,000 followers. How come you don't have 7,000 views? You know, you have at least probably half maybe your followers, watching you.
Exactly.
So I mean, realistically, following used to be a great way to get noticed, and it showed growth. But nowadays, it's meaningless. It's grown to a point where it means nothing now.
Been devalued to where you don't even like. I know people who just shut off their notifications.
Yeah, I've seen big streamers that have just got like just the visual notification because it's literally just one after the other constantly.
You have to chime in on that. I'm about ready to cut mine off too. Yeah, like I said last night it was ridiculous. My whole chat's like, everyone's blowing up because they're like, oh my god, so many followers. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, you being follow bot? I'm like, no, you follow botting stuff, you view botting stuff. If I was view botting or follow botting, don't you think I would have like 10,000 people in my chat, not 10?
Right.
I mean, yeah. It's just like I said, since the change of the system, it's been a recent thing too. It's happening to a lot of people. People that have been on Twitch for a while. I've noticed like new streamers, it's not really happening to as much. Like I still see people, they're new. They only have like 200-300 followers, and they're getting a steady kind of follower. Nothing compared to like what we get. Like, I'm not saying that we're big streamers, Cherry and Crunk, but I am saying that we are on the moderate level side of things. We're not new guys. We're not newbies at this. We definitely have some knowledge. All of us.
Yeah, the thing I've noticed since the app, the couple of times that it's happened to me or people that I know, it's they're playing not the most, like it doesn't happen when you're playing PUBG because everybody's playing PUBG. But when Cherry was playing Super Mario Maker, she was in the top 5 on the list. So I think what you're saying is right. When somebody goes to create an account and they say, what games are you interested in? If they hit Mario Maker while Cherry's in the top 5, it automatically links to her. So everybody who hits that Mario Maker is getting a follow to her. So you got like a couple hundred in a day in one stream, didn't you?
Probably over about 2 streams. I think it was a couple hundred. Yeah,
those aren't Anubis's numbers, but that's like a fifth of all the all the followers. I think I have 600 followers total, so that's a lot for one stream for me.
Yeah, even like for Cherry, that's impressive. I mean, for me, like I back when I was not saying I'm better than her, bigger, but like when I was
4 years, man.
when I was at like the level she's at now, like I would have killed for that kind of following. Like, I'm like, man, this is great. Like give me more followers. And then as you get bigger and you see like the system, you start learning the system, you start hearing from other streamers, you're learning that followers now don't create any more hype for you. You realize it's pointless. And you see a lot of other big streamers too, and medium streamers just completely even taking off the follow. They don't even put the follow on anymore. If you're not subscribing or donating, there's just no notification, not even an image.
Yep.
Just going back to that, where you're talking about the followers just then, how much it would mean to you if you were like back when the level that I'm at now. You're 14,000 followers that you've got now. How did you get to that? Disregarding the follow bot.
So before this even started going on, towards I think it was last year. So last year I was putting lots and lots of time in. I was pretty much streaming every day, running myself ragged. I was doing sometimes 24-hour streams back to back. So I'd like go, do a 24-hour stream, maybe sleep for 5-6 hours, and then do another 24-hour stream. And that's pretty much where a lot of my growth came from, especially during the time where Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 were still very popular. Like zombies were still a very big thing. I had a very big community, and there was a lot of obviously big faces and names just kind of throughout their syndicate. For one, he's a well-known zombie streamer. and there's many more, but he's just one that sticks out in mind right now. And he basically was one of the founding fathers of the zombie community, and that's how zombies became like so widely and vastly liked, and that's where I grew from that because of community, and because I was putting also like so much time into it, literally, and I was dumping a lot of money, so I was doing constant giveaways. Like when I was more financially stable back in the day, I was doing a lot of giveaways, pretty much a giveaway almost every day.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
so just kind of go back to the professional gaming thing. Like I said, eventually, so I was joining. Like I said, started off watching famous people or people that were becoming famous through competitive gaming, and that's what inspired my streaming and YouTube. But also inspired me to go competitive. So I saw that they were streaming, and because they were streaming, they were getting more well known for the competitive aspect of things. So originally, that was my focus, to go competitive and get noticed, be it by being a competitive player and streaming competitive, Call of Duty. And from there, like I said, eventually I got in touch with some organizations that were real small and were growing, and then started becoming well known. And then organizations fell apart, as most do. Eventually, if they don't really get big, like Optic Phase, Envy, all those guys who are massive giants in the esports community, competitive scene. Um, but I digress.
No,
Uh,
no.
It's just, like, and that's from there I started kind of giving up on like other organizations. I was like, this isn't, these guys just aren't gonna get me where I want to go. These guys are just kind of like some were sketchy, just some were just like started falling apart the moment I joined. It was like, Jesus, like
You
what
dump
do
all
I
that
keep
time
getting
and
my
energy into it, and then it falls apart. It's
yeah,
frustrating.
I was like, I just got here. I've been here for 2 weeks, and the place is already going to hell. Like everyone's leaving, people are getting thrown off. They're talking about, shutting down the org and just throwing everybody off or selling it and this, that, and the other. It was just like, wow, okay, I must be bad luck or something. Because every time I joined the org, that's basically what was happening. It was like, what the
Well, that's what happens when you name yourself after an evil Egyptian god.
So, like I said, I started giving up on the competitive orgs themselves. So I made my own organization. Actually, I actually built it from the ground up, my own money. Dumped pretty much everything I had at the time into it. I was making my own graphics for the team, making my own graphics for our Twitter page. I was captain of the team. I was owner of the team. I was, we're getting sponsors. I was doing literally everything, and this is because I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. I didn't know, you needed managers and you needed COOs and, you needed vice presidents and you needed, all these people that helped make it function. So I thought it was just, at the time I thought it was just the CEO's job. He just did everything, right? He would get graphic design. Like I know he didn't do graphic design, but like, he would grab people who knew how to do graphics, or like, as they got bigger, they would get offered people who were trying to get known for graphic design. And so like that's just what I did. I just started doing my own graphics and started, building up the business, try to promote it, and eventually the org was called Venom eSports, or Team Venom. We had a hard time deciding between the two names. So like on Twitter we had like Team Venom, but like at Venom eSports. So um
I've seen that name before.
and yeah, well, unfortunately, as we were building, another organization was building at the same time. They actually took off pretty rapidly, and they actually became kind of decently well known. They're not in the community anymore so much. I don't think I haven't heard them or seen them, but basically, I didn't know there was another Venom Esports. There was no way. It's hard to kind of go checking around for days, weeks on end for names that aren't taken.
Right.
And so I mean, we were basically competing for the name. And so at one point, anyway, down the line, I got a team together. We finally got our roster set. I paid $400 down for the team pass for Anaheim. This is probably maybe just close to like 3.5 years ago. It's like when I first kind of like started under the new name. Um, and I paid $400 for the team pass for everybody. Put everyone's name down on it. I was getting ready to book our hotel, book their flights. And then one kid's grandfather died, so he kind of started getting suicidal and depressed and talked
Oh
about
man.
killing himself. And yeah, it was bad, and that kind of affected the team's energy because he's basically left the team. He just got too depressed, couldn't be on it anymore. Another dude's girlfriend broke up with him, so he started getting depressed, and it with tied in with what just happened with the other teammates. So it was like great.
Real
And
life
then
drama. Take it
yeah,
down.
and that was me and the other guy, and he told me that he used to run an organization. He was part of like a co-owner or something, running of Obey. Obey was a really big name a long time ago, and still is kind of out there, but they don't compete or do what they used to do. They're not known for much anymore. But they do exist, so no disrespect. But I mean, so he said, he used to work with that. He's like, hey, how about we just, we transfer everything over to the Obey, we bring it back, me and you, the owners, co-owners, whatever, and we will rebuild it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, man. I don't know if I want to sacrifice all that. I mean, I just put all this work into money and stuff, and the paint team passes are already known as Venom Esports or whatever. So it's kind of like set in stone. There's no changing team name. I can change players. I can't change team name. And so eventually, he just kind of couldn't figure out what to do, and we kind of just split ways. And I kept trying to recruit more players. I got players that were interested. I bring them aboard, and they just kept flaking out and just leaving. It got close to time for Anaheim, and I just didn't have a team, so I had to talk to MLG and a bunch of other places to get my money back. And luckily, MLG was really great at the time and gave me my money back, complete refund,
Oh
got
man,
my
that's
money
great.
back from everything else. Yeah, I mean it was $400. So, and then realistically, actually, MLG reached out to me because they saw that I was on Twitter trying to sell my team pass, and they were like, "You can't do that." So I was like, "Well, I can't go. Our team is non-existent, and I can't find a new team in time." They're like,
You're
"Okay,
like, how about
well."
I sell it to you instead?
They're like, "Well, DM us. We'll talk about it." And then, so we had a nice conversation when being in the reps, and they were really good about it. And they gave me a full refund, and I just kind of had to, refund everything else, tell playing whatever I was gonna do or whatever's already booked. So,
What year was this?
I don't say almost 3.5 years ago.
Okay, so you had started streaming at this time.
Under the new name. Yeah, this is under the new
Yeah.
name. I mean, I was already streaming prior to the new name, but this is when I started really going like full competitive mode.
Nice. So
And
was
yeah,
that the end of your professional career, or are you still looking
that was
into
the
it?
end of trying to go competitive at all in the scene. I just realized that at the time, a lot of people were just not reliable. Not they weren't trustworthy, but they just weren't reliable. A lot of people were just kids. I was older, so I was like the oldest one ever on the team. Plus being captain, people had a hard time, dealing with some dude who was captain and owner at the same time, and being in charge of the team. And they were young kids, teenagers, and I was, my 20s, 30, whatever. So it just fell apart, and I kind of just started focusing more on streaming and then YouTube, and saw YouTube was taking off, and started trying to put content out there as much as I could. And started doing like a lot of like unboxing. When I was doing competitive, though, I was putting out videos of our competitive teams and showing people some strategies that I thought were effective and good. And like, I don't know, like when I was competitive, like I was really like super focused on strategies and building strategies and having organization. Because I saw like a lot of teams would go in and they would just, play as a team, and do good as a team, and they would just have no strategy going. They would just go and try their best to try to win the map and take advantage of any kind of situation. Map awareness and learning where the spawns were, but like there was no like other real strategicness to it. Whereas mine was like, okay, we have this guy with sniper watching over this point B, and we have two guys rushing mid and one guy kind of flanking around to push him out or push him. If the two teams going in the middle are pushing him back, that one guy flanking around can pluck them off as they're retreating. So stuff like that. I was really like super tactical and strategical.
Watching a lot of replay videos and studying and drawing up plans.
Yep.
That's nice.
And so yeah, that was the competitive side. Came to an end.
But always remember this: Marines die. That's what we're here for. But the Marine Corps lives forever. And that means you live forever.
Well,
Sorry.
I saw on your stream the other day that you're possibly heading to Twitchcon. Is that correct?
But yes, I am heading to Twitchcon. Yes, in 2 short months. 2 months from today, actually. 2
Oh
months
my
to the
God.
dot.
Oh, really?
Yes, October 20th.
So do you have like specific plans to do there? I've never been or even looked into TwitchCon. What's it like, and what do you plan on doing while you're there?
Well, to kind of tie into TwitchCon real quick, this is kind of slightly off, but slightly on topic of it. I've actually just started creating clothing. I have a professional company, a clothing line out there that actually works with FaZe, who's a huge, obviously well-known esports competitive team that makes their jersey and their clothing line. So I'm working with that brand, that team, or that business. I'm working with them to create my own professional clothing line here. So I'm going to be creating jerseys like the professional sports teams, so people can rock around and say, part of the Egyptian army is going to have my new logo on it. I had a new logo made recently as well. I've been doing a lot of new things, trying to get things ready for TwitchCon and trying to like revamp my stream, trying to bring back some old viewers in and bring some new ones in. As I said, I'm always trying to do new things.
Yeah,
And,
that's sweet.
So I got this clothing line going. So I'm going to be making jerseys, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and then we'll be working on like another like like off kind of website thing. It's called Designed by Humans, a website. Then you can make mugs and phone covers and stuff like that. So I'll be doing stuff like that too eventually. But when I go TwitchCon, I'll be once my clothing line is fully designed and printed out, I'm gonna be basically ordering like three of each, like probably like three hoodies, three jerseys, three t-shirts, and maybe like one or two jackets. And I'll be giving those away at TwitchCon there, as well as some other my sponsors uh items that they give me and some other stuff I'll be buying personally to give away their control freaks and whatnot. So I plan on doing giveaways while I'm there to anybody that recognizes me. I'll just be pulling something out of a backpack and I'll be like, here you go, oh, it's a jersey, or here, you won G Fuel tub, or you won control freaks, or just be pulling basically like a rabbit out of a hat, you could say.
Well, that's nice. This will air well before TwitchCon, so if you guys are listening to this and you're going to be at TwitchCon, look for Anubis. Get you some free swag.
Wow, how old are you?
I'm like
promote-
72.
Swag.
To just promote the clothing line too coming out, because it's been a long time coming. I've just been so paranoid about creating a clothing line and trusting a company to do it and do it the way I want it done and get it just right. And it's always, when you go professional, you go to that high grade level, and not just like these other simple websites that do t-shirts and all that, like the simplistic stuff. You want it high grade quality, you want it done professionally, you want it custom designed. You want your own colors on it, you want your own little details on it. You tell them what you want. You give them the ideas, or they present you with ideas, and you choose what you want. You go from there, and then they print it up, and then you just start selling. And they all get sold through their website. At the moment, there is no discount code because I'm just an affiliate. I'm not fully sponsored with them at this time. So there's no discount codes at the moment. So things are a little bit pricey there. They're not bad. So, there's other websites that are worse. It's all gonna be crazy cool because it's like I said, a long time coming, and it's just been paranoia holding me back, and concerns and doubt and fear.
Sometimes you just got to take that plunge, though, right?
That's what I said. It's like it's fine. It's been 4 years. It's time. It's time because people have been asking for about a year now. When are you gonna come out the clothing line? When are you gonna come out with some merchandise? You've been streaming this long. You're like, why don't you have anything? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. If I'm gonna do it, look for a company, try to get a professional one. I saw they work with Face. I was like, all right, this team, this company, this business has to be good, right? They're working with one of the top tier, organizations out there, and they're printing out all this stuff for them. So I mean, this has got to be high quality, good stuff.
Well, I'm going to need your help, man. I'm about to launch my own Crunky brand dog merkins.
Nice.
Are you serious?
No. That kind of brings us into the closing here, where we'll do a little bit of advertisement for AnubisCOD. Not that he needs it, Mr. 14,000 followers.
Remember, they don't mean as much.
Yeah, okay. It's still a lot if you only count half of them. So, if you had to pick like a short phrase or a one word to describe your channel to someone who's never been there before, how would you describe it?
Ooh, tough one. I never really put much thought into it, to be honest. I would have to say family.
That's a good one. That's the first time we've heard that one.
Yeah, everyone usually just says fun.
I was thinking unique, but it's not really. It's unique in its own way, but at the same time, it's more family oriented. I make sure I try to keep it family oriented and focused on the family mind frame, mindsets, and perspective. Like my audience, just kind of sorry to kind of carry this on longer, but my audience basically they have many ways of contacting me, not just on stream but off stream, on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Kick. Some even have my own personal number. I've had people call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, kids, teenagers, complaining to me about their problems and stuff, and talking about being depressed or suicidal. And so, I try to really, like I said, my thing is really truly family oriented, and I try to make sure I'm there for these kids because I know what it's like just to feel alone, or to maybe truly be alone and have nobody. So I understand that feeling, and I don't want people to go what I went through. I want people to know that even though I may not know you as well as I possibly could, because I don't live near you, I don't hang out with you every day, we don't talk every day. I still care that strangers out there in the community, gaming, Twitch, YouTube, there are people that genuinely care about you, not just about your money, not just about you coming to the stream and being a face and being a number. People generally care about who you are.
Yeah, that's really important. And if there's one thing I've noticed in the couple of interviews that we've done so far is that streamers and people who watch streams, there's definitely a strong connection there for people who see each other often. And it's almost like, I know from people I like to watch stream, if they normally are scheduled streaming, they're not there, I'm like, oh man, I hope they're okay. And it's like genuine concern. Like, yeah, I want to be entertained. It's fun to watch them, but it's also like the hangout you miss. And that kind of goes along with what you're saying about it feeling more like a family.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a crucial thing too for all streamers to have is to just don't treat them just like your fans or an audience or a number or a dollar symbol or your future paycheck. Because remember that they are people, that they're people that are taking time and spending their hard-earned cash, whether it's through chores because they're kids or they've asked their mom to donate to you or to subscribe to you. Remember, these are people, families, that may not be perfect, but they're taking their hard-earned time and money to enjoy what you do, give it to you.
Thanks to Anubis for joining us. Thank you, all of you out there, for listening. Anubis, do you have any social media you'd like to tell us about? If people want to follow you or get in touch?
Twitter.com/AnubisCOD, Facebook.com/AnubisCOD. Basically everything you can think of, guys, social media-wise, Snapchat, Kick, all AnubisCOD, guys. And I just want to thank you, Cherry and Crunky, for having me on and for listening to me ramble.
Absolutely,
You're
dude.
more than welcome.
We hope to have you back on a future episode if you're interested.
I would love to. This was actually very good for me. It really touched a lot of things I kind of been wanting to express in some way.
Nice. Well, now next time you have you on, you can expound upon them or bring up things that you think about between now and then too.
Awesome.
So follow us, the podcast. We also follow Anubis on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Be sure to go to iTunes and sub, rate, and like the podcast. Any reviews that you put in there, even if it's one word, actually helps us in the metrics. So all links that are mentioned in this episode are in the description, so go check them out. And catch us next time here on Go Lurk Yourself. Go Lurk Yourself podcast is produced by Crunky and Cherry Cake. This episode edited by Crunky. All music in this episode was performed by Crunky. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.